Okay, so the rest of the examples that we're going to finish today, we're going to use the same 4 steps that we wrote down on our notes yesterday. So if you get stuck, refer to the 4 steps that we wrote down yesterday and the 4 steps that we referred to when we did our opener together today. So if I'm looking at my 4 steps in my notes, what's the first thing I'm going to do here, Alex? What's the very first thing that I'm going to do to the square root of 200? Look at your notes. Don't shrug your shoulders at me. Look at your notes. So we are on step 1. What does step 1 say to do? Just this part right here. What's that first part say? The first 3 words. Yeah, factor the radicand. So the first thing you're going to do is factor the radicand. So, Jair, what 2 numbers can I multiply together to get 200?
2 and 100.
2 and 100. I know that I circle my 2. Danielle, what can I multiply together to get 100 if you can't use 10 times 10? Okay, fine. What do you want to use?
10 times 10.
10 times 10. Okay. And then how do you factor 10?
2 times 5.
And 2 times 5, right? So that's the first part of step 1. Damon, the second part of step 1, how am I going to write these? Under my square root sign. How do I write my prime numbers, my numbers that I have circled, under my square root sign? How am I going to write the numbers that I circled under my square root sign?
2 and 2 again. 5.
Wait.
Oh, no, 2 again.
Okay.
And 5. And then 5 again.
Good.
And then we done.
Okay, so that is step 1. Step 2, what do I do? Daisha? What do I do for step 2? Don't shrug your shoulders at me. Look at your notes. Yeah, circular pairs. What's your pair up here? And? Say it again. I just didn't hear you. And 5. You not feeling well? Okay. Okay, step 3. Were you New Kids on the Block fan?
A little bit.
Every time I say step by step, you guys know that song? Ooh, baby. That's all what I want to sing every time I say, now what step? Okay, sorry. Step 3. And where do those numbers go?
They go to the bottom with the square root or something.
Okay, you're so close. So when I cancel my second 2 or my square with the square root sign, you're right, I do move them to the bottom. But what place do I put them in the bottom? What place is that called?
And coefficient.
Very good. That's what I want to hear. Move it to the coefficient. So I'm going to write a 2 in the coefficient times what? 5 in the coefficient. I'm going to write my square root sign. Now, what's stuck up in the radicand? What did not have a pair to cancel?
2.
That's right. And then my final step is to simplify,
2 times 5.
which is?
And
Then what do I put?
the square root.
Over?
2.
Good. So you would read this answer to me, 10 square root 2.
Number 7.
All right, example number 7, if you guys already have example number 6 and you want to get started on example number 7 while you're waiting on me, is the square root of 400. So example number 7 is the square root of 400. Okay, while you guys are working on your factors, I'm going to do it up here independently. Okay. Now, you guys might have used 40 and 10. You could have used 2 and 200. There's all different kinds of factors you could have started with. But we all should have ended up with the same prime numbers. So I did the first half of step 1. Let's see, who can do the second half of step 1 for me? Jalen? Come on, let's go.
You put 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, then times 5, then times 5. Again, one to the second one.
No.
No.
What do I need to do before? What's missing? The big square root sign. Make sure I have that big square root sign over them all. Okay, nice job. That's step 1. Okay, raise your hand if you can do step 2. Kalon. It's Kalon, right?
Kalon, but you can call
I keep calling you Kalon, don't I? Kalon. But I want to call you the right name. Kalon. What do I do next?
You would do the coefficient.
Not yet. What's step 2?
Oh no, you circle. You circle.
Circle my,
Circle the radical numbers.
which make a pair, right? I heard Michael whisper, circle my pairs. What do you guys notice about this problem compared to the previous problems that we've done? Say it again.
There's no radical.
There is no radicand.
Yeah.
If I am left with no radicand, what is the square root of 400? It's called a...
It's called a coefficient.
No, well, all the numbers are going to go in the coefficient. So what's going to go in my coefficient here?
Oh no.
2, 5,
Which equals?
20.
Okay. So if I have no radicand, and I just end up with a coefficient, the square root of 400 is called a what? 2 words. It was from our notes yesterday on the front page. When you end up with no radicand, and you just end up with the coefficient, it's a perfect square. So, if I were you guys, before I take all this time and factor all this stuff out, I would always go in my calculator and see if it works out evenly. If it works out evenly, you know it's a perfect square, and we just have to write our answer, what I'm going to do here in the red, remember? I just can write my answer like this. If it ends up being a decimal when you try to find the square root, that's when you know you need to do all this other stuff. Okay, example number 8. Example number 8 is going to be, it's one of the fun ones from the opener, where we have a coefficient. So we have 2 square root 75. So 2 square root 75. Remember that 2, the coefficient 2, does not ever get mixed in as the radicand. You cannot put that 2 anywhere inside of that square root sign. Okay? What are 2 numbers that I can multiply together to get 75? Anybody? What 2 numbers can I multiply together to get 75?
5 and 15.
5 and 15? Good. Okay, my 5 is prime. I circle 15. 2 factors of 15.
5 times 3. 5 times 10.
5 times 10 would be 50. Kind of sounds like 15.
Hold on. I'm going to say 5 times. You know, man. Hey,
All right. So, now, when I go to rewrite these, what's the very first thing I have to write after my equal sign?
The 2.
Do not forget your coefficient 2. Then write your square root sign. Then write your radicals. So, how is this going to be written? What are my prime numbers? How are they going to be written under the square root sign?
3
Times.
5
Times.
5.
Good.
Then you circle it.
That's all step 1. Thank God I have you now. Well, I'm trying to say, you guys don't participate.
Oh, it's cool.
Like Kaylin's gonna
I'm
care.
not just
Jalen's participating. I'm sorry, I shouldn't pick on you that much, Jalen. You are talking.
I did my part.
Ooh, you said one thing. Oh my gosh. I hope you're not tired after saying one thing. Okay, step 2. What do I do? It is a challenge. I don't think he's accepting it. Physical challenge, Nickelodeon. Okay, what do I do now? Somebody new. I want to hear a new voice.
Okay.
All right, what do I do? Michelle. What do I do, Michael? What do I do here now, honey?
Alright, you circle the pair.
Okay, good. That's step 2. Go ahead and do step 3 for me, Michael. My pairs then
bring down.
And I put it where?
2 times 3 times 5.
No, I won't take 2 times 3 times 5. Why can't I bring that 3 to the outside? Can somebody explain why I can't bring the 3 to the outside?
There's already 2 on the outside.
Well, but why can't this 3 move to the outside too?
Oh, because you circled 2 and the 5.
Well, because this 3 doesn't have a what?
Partner.
The 3 doesn't have a what? A pair. And remember, pair means 2, and square cancels with square root, so that 3 is stuck on the inside. But the 5 has a pair, and it cancels with the square root, so that 5 can move to the outside.
5,
There you go.
3.
Square root 3. Good.
And the box is 10 square root 3.
Nice job.
You're welcome.
All right. Example number 9. I'll go back to it. Guys, there's a lot of chatter. Will you make sure you're getting talkouts for me? I need to start keeping track of talkouts.
Need a break.
So the next one is 3 square root 15. There's some up there. Kaylon, what do I do first here?
5 times 3.
So you're factoring the radicand, and you took 5 times 3. And what do you do with these two numbers, the 3 and the 5?
You move your.
Well,
3
before I
over.
even move them, what do I do with them?
Move the big 3 over.
Well, what do I do to my prime numbers?
I circle.
I always circle my prime numbers. If you get in the habit of not circling, you're going to forget some when you go to write them as a radical. Then I come up to the right, and what do I put down first?
You 3.
Okay, 3,
I'll put it backwards.
my square root sign. And what goes under my square root sign? Yeah, 3 times 5. Now, this example is different from the previous examples. How so?
There's no pairs.
There's no pairs. So if there's no pairs, nothing is going to get canceled with the square root sign, and nothing's going to move to the outside. So I can't do step 2, nor can I do step 3, so I move straight back to step 4, which means simplify my outside. Well, there's only one number on the outside, so that's going to stay a 3. And then simplify my radicand, simplify my inside. What's 3 times 5? 15. So 3 square root 15, 3 square root 15 was already in simplest form. Okay? So that's example number 9. So sometimes you're going to get a square root that's already in simplest form, and that's okay. We just rewrite it how we found it. Last example. Three square root 90. All right, Jaden, what are 2 factors of 90? What are 2 numbers I can multiply together to get 90? 9 and 10. Keep going. You're going to do all of step 1.
Circle 9.
No, I don't circle the 9. I can factor it.
Oh,
3 and 3. Then I can circle my 3s. Okay, factor your 10.
5 and 2.
Now what do I do? I put my equal sign. As soon as I put my equal sign, what can I not forget? What do I have to write first so I don't forget about it? Say it again? The coefficient, the 3, right? So we're going to make sure we write that coefficient out so we don't forget about it. Then we're going to write our square root sign. And what goes under my square root sign, Jaden?
3 times 3.
Before I put my 3s, what?
2.
There we go.
3 times 3 times 5.
Good. Damon, step 2.
All right, circle. So circle 3.
Circle your pairs of 3. Good. Kira, step 3.
When you cross off the second 3, you bring the rest down.
I just didn't hear you.
You bring the rest down.
What do you mean bring the rest down? Where does that 3 go?
Outside.
Okay. So I bring that 3 to the outside, but what else do I have to make sure I remember to bring down on the outside too? My other 3, right? Okay, I put my square root sign. What's left on my radicand on the inside?
2 times 3 times 5.
No. What's left? What haven't I touched? The 2 and the 5. Okay, and then step 4. Jair, what do I do for step 4?
Times 3 times 3.
Which is?
9.
Okay, then what?
Bring down the square root sign.
Very good.
2 times 5 is 10.
And the last step, you all should do what? Oh, thank gosh. Box it.